Bobby Lashley's biggest victory wasn't winning a WWE Championship. It was walking away from WWE altogether. Because ever since Bobby Lashley reunited with MVP and Shelton Benjamin in AEW, it feels like we're finally seeing what should have happened years ago. A dominant faction, a clear identity, veteran stars helping elevate the next generation, and most importantly, a company that actually seems interested in using them together. Meanwhile, WWE let one of its most successful faction quietly disappear, never fully capitalizing on what many fans believed was one of the coolest acts of the pandemic era. And here's the crazy part. This wasn't just about Bobby Lashley leaving one wrestling company for another. It was about taking control of his career before creative had nothing meaningful left for him. Today, we're breaking down why leaving WWE may have been the smartest decision Bobby Lashley ever made, why reuniting with MVP and Shelton Benjamin changed everything, and why AEW has given them another chance to finish the story that many fans felt WWE ended far too soon. WWE had something special, then let it slip away. Let's rewind for a second. When MVP formed the Hurt Syndicate in WWE alongside Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the group quietly became one of the hottest acts on Monday Night Raw. Lashley looked like an unstoppable champion. MVP was one of wrestling's best talkers. Shelton Benjamin finally had a meaningful role again. For many fans, the Hurt Syndicate felt like one of WWE's strongest factions during the Thunderdome era. But then, it ended. The group was broken up, despite its popularity, and over the following years, many fans questioned why WWE never fully returned to that formula. MVP later said he and Lashley wanted the group to continue and didn't understand why it ended, reinforcing the idea that they believed there was still much more potential left in the faction. That's what makes Bobby Lashley's eventual move to AEW so interesting. It wasn't just another free agent signing. It was an opportunity to revive something that never got the ending it deserved. But what happened after Bobby Lashley left WWE proves this story was much more than nostalgia. It exposed two very different philosophies about how wrestling companies use veteran stars. Bobby Lashley was right to leave WWE. AEW finally unlocked his potential. Here's where the story really changes. Because Bobby Lashley didn't leave WWE as a washed-up veteran looking for one last paycheck. He left as someone who had already accomplished almost everything there was to accomplish in WWE. He had been a WWE champion. He had headlined premium live events. He had been one of the most protected stars on the roster. The question wasn't whether Bobby Lashley could still perform. The question was, what was left for him to do? As Lashley's WWE run wound down, many fans noticed something. He wasn't consistently featured in major storyline, and there wasn't a clear long-term decision for him on television. Instead of building momentum around the reunion many fans wanted with MVP and Shelton Benjamin, WWE moved in a different direction. From the outside looking in, it felt like one of WWE's most dominant acts had simply run its course, not because the performers couldn't deliver, but because creative priorities had shifted. That's an opinion shared by many fans. Even though WWE never publicly explained its long-term plans for Lashley, for someone who had proven himself at the highest level, that left a lot of people wondering whether his talent was being fully utilized. Then came AEW. Almost immediately, Bobby Lashley reunited with MVP and Shelton Benjamin, allowing them to present themselves as a united force again. Instead of trying to reinvent Lashley, AEW leaned into what already worked. A dominant veteran surrounded by trusted allies. That familiarity made the group feel authentic from day one. Rather than pretending the past never happened, AEW gave the trio a chance to build on it. Another difference Lashley has talked about is flexibility. AEW's schedule has allowed a number of wrestlers to pursue projects outside the company, whether that's acting, business ventures, or combat sports. For someone like Lashley, who has a long background in mixed martial arts, that flexibility can be a meaningful benefit. It gives him room to explore opportunities without the demand of a full-time WWE touring schedule. That doesn't mean every wrestler wants the same thing. Some thrive in WWE's system, while others prefer the freedom that AEW offers. For Lashley, that flexibility appears to fit this stage of his career as well. One thing veteran stars can bring to a promotion isn't just star power, it's credibility. Working with an established name like Bobby Lashley can help younger wrestlers feel like bigger deals when they're presented as legitimate rivals. AEW has often paired experienced veterans with rising talent, giving newer stars opportunities to grow through those matchups. Whether every storyline succeeds is up for debate, but the philosophy is clear. Use established names to help build tomorrow's stars. The move to AEW wasn't just about Bobby Lashley. It was about proving that MVP's vision for this group still had life, and that many fans believed WWE gave up on what could have become one of wrestling's most compelling factions. If there was one thing Bobby Lashley's move to AEW proved, it's that chemistry doesn't just disappear. Sometimes all it needs is the right stage. For years, wrestling fans talked about what could have been if WWE kept Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin together. MVP wasn't shy about how highly he viewed the group. Instead of expanding that alliance, WWE chose another decision. Whether that was the right call is still debated, but many fans felt there was much more left to explore. In interviews after leaving WWE, he explained that he believed there was still plenty of potential in the partnership with Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. From his perspective, the act wasn't finished. It was interrupted. That belief became the foundation for their next chapter. Rather than talking about what might have been forever, they got the opportunity to try again in AEW. One of the biggest criticism fans had towards WWE's handling of some veteran stars is that they were often shifted between stories without a consistent direction. In AEW, Lashley didn't need a dramatic reinvention. He was presented at what he has long been, a dominant athlete with an intimidating presence. MVP handled much of the talking. Shelton Benjamin added veteran experience and in-ring credibility. Each member had a clear role, making the group feel focused from the start. Sometimes, the best creative decision isn't changing everything. It's recognizing what already works. This is where the comparison between WWE and AEW becomes interesting. Supporters of WWE often point to its production, global reach, and ability to create mainstream stars. Supporters of AEW often point to its willingness to let performers lean into their own strengths and evolve their characters. Neither approach guarantees success every time, but for Bobby Lashley, the AEW environment appears to have aligned with what he wanted at this stage of his career. Instead of asking, how do we change Bobby Lashley? The focus seemed to be, how do we maximize Bobby Lashley? Veterans like Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin bring more than name value. They've spent years performing at the highest level, learning how to sell stories, build matches, and connect with audiences. When younger wrestlers share the ring or the screen with talent like that, they gain experience that can be taught in a classroom. That's one reason many fans enjoy seeing respected veterans remain active. They can help raise the profile of the next generation while still delivering compelling performances themselves. But this story goes beyond one faction, because Bobby Lashley's move also highlights a bigger question wrestling fans have been arguing about for years. Which company is doing a better job of helping wrestlers thrive once they've already proven they're stars? Bobby Lashley's move to AEW isn't just a story about one wrestler changing companies. It has become part of a much larger conversation among wrestling fans. What kind of environment helps established stars and the next generation do their best work? There isn't one answer, and reasonable fans can disagree. But Bobby Lashley's move has given people another example to point to in that debate. One of the biggest differences fans often discuss is creative philosophy. WWE generally operates with a more centralized creative process. Characters, storylines, and long-term plans are developed within that system. AEW has often been described by its talent as offering more collaboration, with wrestlers having greater input into their characters and promos. Neither model is automatically better. Some performers thrive with structure, others feel more energized when they have more creative input. Looking at Bobby Lashley's current run, it's fair to argue that AEW's approach has suited him well. Reuniting with MVP and Shelton Benjamin wasn't just nostalgia, it gave Bobby Lashley a stable foundation. Instead of starting from scratch, the trio could build on chemistry that fans already recognize. That kind of continuity can make a faction feel more authentic because the relationships already exist. It's also a reminder that sometimes an idea doesn't fail. It simply needs a different opportunity. Another argument supporters of AEW often make is that pairing respected veterans with emerging talent can help elevate the next generation. When a young wrestler stands across the ring from someone with Bobby Lashley's resume, it can instantly make that match feel more significant. Whether that potential is fully realized depends on the booking, but the opportunity itself can be valuable. Veterans don't just add credibility to championships, they can add credibility to opponents. At this stage of his career, Bobby Lashley didn't necessarily need another complete reinvention. He needed meaningful stories, strong opponents, and a role that played to his strengths. From the outside, AEW's appear to have offered exactly that. That doesn't erase everything Lashley accomplished in WWE. His WWE run included major championships and memorable moments, but it's reasonable to argue that this new chapter has allowed him to continue his career in a way that fits his goals. And that leads to the biggest question of all. When wrestling fans look back years from now, will Bobby Lashley's decision to leave WWE be remembered as one of the smartest career moves of his generation? When Bobby Lashley left WWE, plenty of people wondered if it was the end of his run as a major player. Instead, you can argue it became the beginning of a new chapter, not because he suddenly became a different wrestler, but because he found a situation that better matched what he wanted at this point in his career. It's important to remember that this doesn't have to be viewed as WWE bad, AEW good. Different companies have different goals, different creative systems, and different ways of presenting talent. Some wrestlers have the best years of their careers in WWE. Others find that a different environment allows them to showcase strengths that weren't being emphasized before. From my perspective, Bobby Lashley falls into that secondary category. Perhaps the biggest takeaway is that Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin finally received another opportunity to work together. Many fans believed that there was still plenty of untapped potential in that partnership after its WWE run ended. AEW gave them a chance to explore that idea again rather than leaving it as what if. Whether you're a WWE fan, an AEW fan, or someone who watches both, it's hard to deny that seeing accomplished veterans reunited has created renewed interest. When talented performers have more than one major place to work, they have more opportunities to find the creative environment that fits them the best. Sometimes that means staying where they're at. Sometimes it means taking a chance somewhere else. For Bobby Lashley, making that move has opened the door to a fresh set of stories, familiar allies, and a role that many fans feel plays to his strengths. At the end of the day, Bobby Lashley didn't need to prove he was a star. The real question was where he could keep evolving. In my opinion, AEW has gave him that opportunity. It's allowed him to reunite with trusted partners, continue performing at a high level, and contribute in ways that go beyond championships. Only time will tell how this chapter is remembered, but if things continue on their current path, people may look back and say that leaving WWE wasn't the end of Bobby Lashley's legacy. It was one of the smartest decisions of his career. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Was Bobby Lashley right to leave WWE for AEW, or should he have stayed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss future wrestling commentary. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.